There's not a single sentence that Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes that is irrelevant. Everything is creating such a picture of pure devotion for our journey, our progress. I'm not in a hurry to read through this Jaiva Dharma. Our intention is not just to race through it and say, yes, I've studied Jaiva Dharma or something like that. My intention is to relish it at every chapter and every sentence, and to pray to my Gurudev to bring out more of the essential truths that are here. But these truths are unlimited. They can go on for it. We could just turn around right now and start from page 1 of chapter 1 and read again, and we'd get a newer, fresher appreciation and realization. Just like the Bhagavatam and just like the Chaitanya Charitamrita. We can read it again and again and again and again. I must have read this Jaiva Dharma so many times, and yet every time I read it, I feel I've never read it before. I have that feeling of its astonishing beauty and speciality. And every time I read it, I'm appreciating newer and newer truths that are buried here. It's like a gold mine. It's just endlessly, we can churn it and bring these out. So I'm not in a hurry.
Chapter 1, Part 2. This compilation presents the following select clips.
The situation is that Sannyasi Thakur, he's connected fully with Prem Das Babaji, and Prem Das Babaji has embraced him. And with that embrace, he felt horripilation and his hairs rising, and he had never experienced such indescribable bliss as to be embraced by a pure Vaishnava. So Sannyasi Thakur is also, I was explaining yesterday, representing like Shukadev, in the same sense that Shukadev came from a Brahmavad condition to embracing the precepts of his noble father Vyasadeva, and Sannyasi Thakur is coming in the same mood that he's come from a Brahmavad place, a Brahmagyan sannyasi, Paramahamsa sannyasi. And we also, or perhaps we're coming more from a Mayavad place. You know, perhaps we didn't know what to believe in. But still, we can associate, in a sense, ourselves with Sannyasi Thakur in coming into this. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is writing it from this perspective to give the conditioned soul a mood of the astonishment as we make progress in this path. And we see it in Sannyasi Thakur, his progress. In every instance, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is exemplifying the deep humility of Prem Das Babaji from the very beginning. He's giving us a picture. How is the condition of consciousness in an Uttam Bhakta? Prem Das Babaji is on that platform. Without this type of association, without this type of vision and appreciation, how will we have hope for our future practices, etc., without understanding the speciality of these personalities? The sannyasi said, "I have offered my body to your lotus feet. Why do you speak of a few days only? My anxious prayer is that I may serve you until I give up this body. In other words, life and death, die to live. Sannyasi Thakur has come forever. He hasn't come on a one-way ticket like a tourist or something like this. He's come forever to dive deeply into this path of Braja Prem and Prem Bhakti. He's come fully for this, and that means you have to give your whole life for that. So he's a completely serious sadhak. There's nothing else going on for him. Deva Palli is another name for Nrsimha Palli, exactly the same place. Previously, because now, if you look at the map, it seems that Nrsimha Palli is in Dweep, but actually it's not, it's in Simantadweep. Simantadweep starts on the other side of the river, on the other side of the Saraswati. You cross over Mayapur, and then that Simantadweep goes to where the Chankazi is, but then it actually comes right around the back. That whole island of Simantadweep previously came right around. And Devapalli or Nrsimhapalli was there within the island of Simantadweep. It wasn't in the island of Koladweep, but because the river is changing, now it appears that Nrsimhapalli is in Dweep, but actually, originally it wasn't. It was in Simantadweep, because you can see the old map. It goes right around. I asked my Gurudev when we were doing this, why are we glorifying this personality in a mood of wanting to hear about Brajras, etc., worship to Sri Radhika, become a Radha Palyadasi, and we're hearing the elevated nature of this person who is worshipping Nrsimhadev. I couldn't figure out how that could be his Ishtadev, and my Gurudev explained, Nrsimhadev greatly supports the endeavors of any bhakta. If a bhakta is desirous of Rag Marg, Nrsimhadev will clear all those obstacles in his path for him to attain that position. So Pradumna Brahmachari is in a most humble mood also, just like Premdas Babaji, and he's residing there in the most wonderful embrace of Sri Nrsimhadev, who can support and nourish someone's Rag Marg Bhajan. It's not that Nrsimhadev is only just for the Vaidhi Bhaktas, but Nrsimhadev can be embraced for the Raganuga Bhaktas also. Thakur knows how to behave. He knows how to honor. He knows how to acquire the mercy of the senior devotees. It's very, very important. My Gurudev would spend a lot of time coaching us, schooling us on etiquette. He would tell us, like when we used to sit in front of him, why are the juniors sitting so close? They should give space to the seniors to sit close, etc. He would always be prompting and correcting all the time, this engendering respect throughout for ultimately Guru and all those who are closer to Guru, and then the next levels like this, and this whole current of respect. If that is being taught and practiced in the various groups, then the groups are very, very strong. There's no question. Sannyasi Thakur had no previous experience of the reciprocal behavior between Vaishnavas. However, he accepted the mutual dealings that he observed between his Guru and Param Guru as the sadachar, proper etiquette, that he himself should follow. And from that day on, he behaved accordingly towards his own Guru without a trace of duplicity. It's very important. Our material relationships, even though we're practicing sadhaks, we still have material bodies and we bump into each other in various rude ways sometimes. So we have to try and exemplify the behavior of our Guru, like Srila Radha Govinda Goswami Maharaj. He, such impeccable sadachar, always. And this is to teach us the same. And we should, regardless of the other person's perhaps inability to do like that, we should not compromise ourselves. And we make the standard. And if someone is being offended, we just leave. But we should very diligently practice this. It's essential. As the heart grows closer towards pure devotional service, then the reality of the spiritual world becomes more clear in the heart of the sadhak, and that transcendental Vishuddha Sattva realm starts to be perceived, and the behavior of the residents of those dhams is beyond compare. So we are aspiring for that residence. So it starts with our behavior also. It's very, very important. By this time, the sannyasi had adopted all the ways of a Vaishnava except for his outer dress. During his previous training, Sannyasi Thakur had developed qualities such as full control over his mind and senses, and had become firmly established in the conception of the non-dual, all-pervading absolute Brahmanishta. In addition, he had now acquired staunch faith in the transcendental pastimes of Parabrahm Sri Krishna, and had become deeply humble. This is remarkable. It's only just been a few days, but because he was such a sincere personality, as will be revealed in the next chapters, there's many chapters, many examples to reveal the elevated stage of this personality that Bhaktivedanta Thakur is portraying. But we see because this personality will have had good sanskar, he will have had good impressions, and he's practiced controlling his senses, which is essential for the sadhak to make progress. The cause of any sort of disturbance generally comes from our lack of being able to control our material senses. They have to be controlled. We have to make an effort, just like a yogi. We are bhakti yogis. So we need to control the mind very much indeed. Bhagavad Gita. Yehi samsparsaja bhoga dukkha yoni evitai. So many verses are saying in Bhagavad Gita. My Gurudev said a number of times, many times actually, out of the whole 40 chapters in this Jaiva Dharma, the first 4 are the most important. And out of the first 4, the first 2 are most important. And out of the first 2, the first 1. This first chapter is the most important out of all the other chapters in Jaiva Dharma. It's laying the complete foundation and groundwork for the entire Gaudiya Siddhanta to sit on, to have a strong connection on. So Nishanta Lila, we immediately appreciate, oh, it's just after Ratri Lila. We have the 8 yamas running through the consciousness. So we have Nishanta Lila, Prata Lila, then Purvana Lila, Madhyana Lila, Apurvana Lila, Shyam Lila, Pradosh Lila, and then Ratri Lila. These are the 8 pastimes of the day. The sadhak should study this. Actually, if we look now in the 38th chapter of this Jaiva Dharma, the Asta Kalia Leelas are completely opened out by Vrindadevi. She's speaking to Narad, and Lord Shivji is there. So all of these pastimes are very clearly spread out there. So this Nishanta Lila is particularly special for the sadhaks because it's the time just prior when Radha and Krishna were in their tightest embrace in the whole 24 hours of the day. At the end of the Ratri Lila, which is the Rasa Lila timing, then their pastimes are the most intense and loving. And that is flowed through into Nishanta Lila, when they're finally alone together in the Kunj, and they're in their most intimate embrace. And very soon, they're going to be in their highest separation mood at the same time. So you've got both of these running together. You've got this intense union, and you've got this really super intense separation going to happen afterwards. When Krishna leaves the Kunj, he has to go back alone to Nandagaon, to Mother Yashoda and Nanda Baba. And he has no one there with him. He just falls from tree to tree to tree, finally falls into his bed, throws the sheet, and then immediately Mother Yashoda comes in to wake him up. And what's in his heart? He's just feeling the rapture of being with Sri Radhika. So this is a very moving state of consciousness for the sadhak to appreciate. Why we rise during this Brahma Muhurta hour. Lord Brahma is so generous in his creation that he's given us this short window, this mode of goodness, Brahma Muhurta hour, from 3:30, 4 o'clock practically until 6, or 3:36 until 4 something, till 5, it's till 6 o'clock. Yeah, 5:30, approximately like that. So only those hours in the whole day is the mode of goodness present. As soon as those hours finish, the mode of passion kicks in. Everyone goes to work, industry begins, etc. Then in the afternoon, everyone goes to sleep, it's tamagun. And then in the evening time, passion again. And then again, sleep, tamagun comes. So these are the only couple of hours in the day, the most clear hours in the whole atmosphere, when the sadhak can really chant and really attempt to dive into contemplation and concentration on these ecstatic transcendental pastimes of the Lord. So Lord Brahma has made this particular time right in the very beginning. We've only read 5-6 pages, and immediately Bhaktivedanta Thakur is inviting us in to appreciate the reality of the transcendental spiritual world and the nature of a Uttam Bhakta, Uttam Sadhak, Siddha, who is immersed in those pastimes. Kakati is that monkey that has to call out. And later on, this monkey, what's the monkey going to call out? Jyotila's coming, Jyotila's coming. But what does Jyotila mean? Jyotila also means dawn. So the dawn is coming, but Radha and Krishna don't think that. They just think the old cranky lady, Jyotila, is coming to catch them together, because this is part of the duality that we just described in the spiritual world, to create the intensity of union. It's all to create the intensity. Everything is there to facilitate Radha and Krishna's meeting and happiness, everything that's happening in Braj. So all of these apparent personalities like Jyotila and Kotila, they're so much necessary for this Lila to transpire. We should know, by the way, that Ananga Manjari is not a Manjari. We should understand she's actually a Sakhi, but her name is Ananga Manjari, the younger sister of Sri Radhika. and she's married to the younger brother of Abhimanyu, Durmada, and she's also in the household of Jotila, but she has conjugal relationships with Krishna, so she's not a Manjari, she's a Saki. We see when we go to Radhakund, I think we mentioned this the other day when we went to Radhakund, in front of the sitting place of Janavi Devi, in that temple there with Gopinath. Ananga Manjari is on Krishna's left, which is always reserved for Krishna's Shakti Radha, and Radharani is standing on his right. So this is the position of Ananga Manjari. But Ananga Manjari, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has really emphasized her a lot in his bhajans, in his poetry. And he even has called his house here Swananda Sukata Kunj, which is the place where Ananga Manjari resides in Radhakund. Her island is actually in the middle of Radhakund. Swa Ananda Sukata Kunj. That's her place. So he's called his temple here Swananda, and he's often mentioning Ananga Manjari. It's an interesting, because Ananga Manjari is also embodied within Nityananda Prabhu, also Janavi Devi. So these personalities, they embody, or Ananga Manjari is within the body of Balaram. That's how he's performing the rasa pastimes in Braj, because we know that Balaram, he performs all 5 rasas in Braj. He's the repository of that, so he has the form of Ananga Manjari. So Ananga Manjari is very potent, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur was mentioning him right here, right in the beginning. When the soul realizes his transcendental identity, automatically at that time, his seva, etc., all the Ekadash Bhavs are naturally going to be revealed to him very clearly. There doesn't have to be any separate endeavor, questioning, or anything like that. But this is very beautiful. You see the exhilaration from the beginning here. The sannyasi Thakur, he's contemplating his own condition, and then he's having this experience with Prem Das Babaji in his samadhi, and then he's hearing about Lalita and Ananga, and then he's being given his Siddha Sarup, he's being given his spiritual identity as Raman Manjari. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur concludes this little aspect with this incredible description of the environment around there.